Put down the blunt, put down the alcohol. I need you to pay attention. As a mental health professional who's talked to thousands of depressed patients over the years, I can tell you that depression is different for men and women. When you help a woman feel better about herself, she normally tends to get better. When you try and make a man feel better about himself, he doesn't get better. What men need in order to feel better is to know that they are useful. They have to feel like they are useful, and then they will get better. The years of 18 to 29 are the most foundational years of your life. You've got to lock in. Keep in mind, your brain is still forming for the majority of those years. So the alcohol, the weed, popping pills, this is going to interfere with your brain development. And your mindset is going to determine everything that happens in your life. If you look at your external environment, it's a reflection of what is going on in here. The number one thing that distracts us as men in this age, and actually throughout our whole lives, is women. Women are the number one distraction to us. During these years, you're going to be fixated on women. I think it's important to understand that you're young and you don't have all the answers. The OGs and the unks know more than you. It's helpful to find a mentor that can speak life into you. You just need one person that believes in you, just one person. When I was 17 or 18, my dad asked me what school I wanted to apply to. I was like, I like Florida State a little bit better than Florida because the girls look better at Florida State. I told my dad this, and he was like, how are you going to get into Florida State with a 2.5 GPA? They don't want you. He was right. And in fact, he mentioned that Chattahoochee Tech probably wouldn't take me. That's the local community college back in Cobb County, Georgia. I think back to that story, and I realized that 17, 18-year-old me, I wasn't all the way there mentally. I mean, this is a kid who, my password was, I love Amber. I play video games all night. I'd go to school late. I wasn't there yet. I just needed a little bit of guidance, and that's what I got. My dad advised for me to go into nursing school. He said, give me 2 years. Give me 2 years. Go to nursing school, and you can be financially independent. And after that, I promise you, I will leave you alone. I promise you, I will leave you alone. I did that. And those 2 years of nursing school, it set the foundation for me to be financially independent. And then from there, I went to get my nurse practitioner degree. And I got my doctorate. And then TikTok took off for me. I moved to California, started doing social media while still seeing patients. Grew to 4 million followers plus. I have brand deals. I get to walk red carpets. I had a chance to promote the 95th Oscars. Been working with CBS, Hulu, Paramount, all these amazing things. And none of it would have happened if I did not take my dad's advice at 17. When you screw up those years, 18 to 29, you're gonna have to play the catch-up game your whole life. It's one thing to be broke at 18. It's a whole nother thing to be broke at 28. You can get away with being broke at 18, sure, you're young. At 28, it hurts. At 38, it hurts. At 48, it hurts. As men, we have to know that we are useful to other people, but that starts with ourselves. We have to take care of our mental, our emotional, and our physical health. And if you're between 18 and 29, what you probably think about all day the most is money and girls and cars, money and girls and cars. I was there. And like my dad told me, if you go and you become financially independent and you take care of yourself, then the women will come. And that's how it is now. It's not difficult to find a lady to do whatever you want. Now, finding someone who's compatible with you is a different challenge. That's a different challenge. But even as it relates to women, you have to understand that there's more to life. There's more to life than women. I remember I had a comedy show in Atlanta, Uptown Comedy Corner, last year in July. I did bomb, so it wasn't the most memorable if you're talking about the actual comedy. But at the end of that show, a lady named Sarah came up to me. She had both of my books. She had driven from Chattanooga, Tennessee to Atlanta, Georgia, 3 hours to come and see my comedy show. And that meant so much to me. That feeling, I kid you not, that feeling was better than the feeling you get when you hook up with a new chick. And, we'll spend so much time and money trying to, weasel a girl out of her pants, and we're like, oh, I gotta get this girl, I gotta get this girl. But that feeling of Sarah coming up to me and she had my 2 books and she really appreciated my content, that meant a lot to me. I'll never forget that moment for the rest of my life. So you have to understand that between these ages of 18 and 29, yeah, you want the women, you want to go on dates, so on and so forth. But it's hard to have a woman and to provide for her, to take care of her. Of course, you can work together to get towards a goal, but it's hard to feel like the man. It's hard to feel like a shot caller when you can't take care of yourself. So I say all this to say that between 18 and 29, you need to put yourself first. Don't worry about dating. Don't worry about getting high, getting drunk, having fun. We will have fun later. Trust me, we'll have fun later. Life is long. Life is good. Life is great. If you look at what's going on TV, you see that it's difficult to have a home. A lot of people are losing hope for the chances of purchasing a home. Inflation is up. It's hard being in the United States of America, and it's been hard as a male. I gotta say it, I can't gaslight y'all. It is hard as a guy. But you've got to understand that if you put yourself first, you take things step by step, you work on your mental health, you get in the gym, you find a trade, whether it's nursing, whether you go to medical school, whether you don't have to go to college actually. You can become a welder, HVAC. There are so many ways to make a stable living for yourself. But between the ages of 18 and 29, the focus should be on you. Your worth is not determined by how much money you make. Your worth is not determined by how many women you can attract. I'll never forget, 2015, I remember I made $93,000. I hate talking about money, but I think there's a lesson behind this. In 2015, I made $93,000. That was the most amount of money I made at that time. And I was sitting with a group of guys who all made over 6 figures. And they were talking about their investments and things like that. And I was so embarrassed because I didn't hit 6 figures. I had so much shame because I made $93,000 in 2015. That makes no sense. I'm ashamed to even tell this story. But that's where my mind was. I thought my value was determined by how much money I made, or how many women I slept with, or what type of car I drove. As a guy, keep in mind, your self-esteem should never be based on any of those things. Just by breathing, just by being alive, you are a man who's worthy of love, attention, and respect. So put together that foundation. Set yourself up right for the future. I promise you, you can do it. I love you. Keep going. Don't lose that confidence. And trust me, you will thank the future version of yourself if you just lock in for these next 10 or 11 years. You got this.